Can't stop, 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 stop. Move, move, move. This your jam, feel your soul, this your groove. Can't stop, 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 stop. Move, move, move. This your jam.
This brings us to the longest Chaps My Ass that we will ever have, I assure you. What chaps my ass is YouTube. Even though I plan on releasing all of my shows on YouTube, they pissed me off last week because my first podcast was supposed to go live on Friday. I spent all Thursday night uploading it, said it was a 3-hour upload. So about midnight, I should have been able to put it on. It was doing some sort of SD verification or something like that. Not entirely sure what that means, although I probably should, but I don't. Anyways, that fucking video 5 days later is still pending. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back, chop it up, release it. Now, luckily for me, that was my very first one, so it wasn't as clean as it will get moving forward. You see, I got a brand new backdrop, the whole nine. Anyways, what chaps my ass is YouTube. That's fucked up. I don't know why my video is still pending. I don't know how these people are able to do it every single day and get it to edit and upload and yada yada and release it and chop it up in shorts. I'm going to figure all that out, I assure you. YouTube should not be this difficult. But it chaps my ass because I did think, although the delivery could have been smooth, I thought the topics were fire last week. So there's going to be a very, very short 5-minute tops recap of the first episode, which I will find a way to share it with you guys later on. The quote of the day last Friday was, the first step to being successful is right in front of you, so take it. That's pretty self-explanatory. You cannot chase your dreams if you do not get started. The first step to being successful is right in front of you. Look down and take that step. On that day in history, which was February 23rd, 1943, Fred Biletnikoff was born. Happy birthday, Fred. Happy belated birthday at this point. Fred Biletnikoff, as some of you may know, has an NCAA award named after him that goes to the most outstanding receiver for the year. The very first recipient of that award was in 1994, Bobby Ingram out of Penn State. The most recent was Marvin Harrison Jr., of course, out of Ohio State. Notable Biletnikoff winners: Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, Jamar Chase. Legends. So, happy birthday, Fred. 1968, Wilt Chamberlain set the NBA record, or he didn't set the NBA record, he was the first NBA player to achieve 25,000 points over his entire career. Shout out Wilt. In 1985, on February 23rd, Bobby Knight had one of the most iconic moments of all time. That's when he got pissed off, he picked up the chair and he threw it across the court. Some of y'all might remember it, some of y'all might not. If you've never looked up anything about Bobby Knight, go check him out. His interviews are fucking priceless. So go check out Bobby. That was the day that he threw the chair, though. And in 2021, sad news, Tiger Woods, that's the day that he crashed his car. We all hope that he recovers well. We see him on tour. He withdraws a lot, so, you know, whatever. But if he still feels like he can compete, power to him. He's a legend as well. So that's what happened on that day, February 23rd. Coach D's MVP last week was Kyle Troup. Kyle Troup won his second major. He won the U.S. Open last week. Also, just won the Just Bear this past week in Indiana over hometown hero E.J. Tackett. So Kyle Troup, shout out twice, I guess. But he won the U.S. Open last week. He defeated E.J. Tackett, Jason Belmonte, and Anthony Simonson. E.J. Tackett, one of the best bowlers ever. When I was on the Kentucky All-Star team and I bowled for Bellarmine, I bowled against E.J. Tackett. He's also 31. He's the reigning player of the year on the PBA Tour. Hell of a bowler. We definitely had some moments bowling against each other. He's a phenomenal talent. Jason Belmonte, Kyle Troup also beat, is the number one bowler in the world. That's undisputed. Jason Belmonte is the shit. Anthony Simonson's who he beat in the championship for the U.S. Open. Anthony Simonson's probably one of the hottest bowlers on tour right now, if not the most. Bill O'Neill's also on fire, but how can you not say that Kyle Troup's not the hottest hand on the PBA Tour? Anyways, he was my MVP last week because that was a very emotional day. His father got a Guppy Troop as a Hall of Fame bowler. He did not win the U.S. Open back in 1984-ish. So it was very emotional for Kyle Troop to get that U.S. Open win kind of in a way for his dad, who wasn't able to complete that mission while he was there. So shout out to Kyle Troop, man. That was awesome to see. What Chapped My Ass last week was customer service, and I did find a better place for my customer service, and he will also be featured in today's show. But shitty customer service, if you're a pro or you are supposed to be a professional or a knowledgeable expert in whatever business you're in, if somebody walks in, doesn't matter if it's their brand, if they're brand new to whatever it is, or if they've been involved in it for a long time. It could be damn paint supplies for all I care. If anybody ranging from beginner to expert needs your help, fucking help them. That's what you're there for. And if they ask you something or they're telling you what their needs are and you look at them like this, you shouldn't be fucking working there. My shout out last week went to Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is not only the hottest thing on sports television right now, he is the only mainstream, which now that he's on ESPN, I have to consider him mainstream. He is the only mainstream sports media personnel that I respect at all. And it's not just Pat, it's all the boys, AJ Hawk, Boston Connor, Ty Schmidt, Gumpy, Tone Diggs, all the crew, the whole crew. They are fucking awesome. All their guests, they got Darius J. Butler on there. They got AQ Shipley that comes on there. Everybody wishes Ian Rappaport would come back, but hey, Adam Schefter's doing his thing. But shout out Pat McAfee, but my shout out went to him because he inspired me to do what I've always wanted to do, which is talk about sports however the fuck I feel like talking about sports. And not necessarily what people at my alma mater, let's say, told me that I would have to speak and approach sports media. So shout out to Pat for telling everybody to believe in their dreams and do it their way, carve their own path, yada yada. So that's what I'm doing, man. Thanks for inspiring me to do so. The bulk of last week's episode we covered the Super Bowl, and it was a hell of a game, overtime. There was several notable moments from the game, but we're so far removed from it. Not really going to go into a deep dive recap on that, but hey, Patrick Mahomes, he's different, man. He just finds a way to win. It doesn't matter. San Francisco's a phenomenal team. Thought that they did about as good as you could do without winning. But it was a hell of a Super Bowl. Coach Cal, I recapped UK versus Auburn, first of all. That was a hell of a game, and I thought that Coach Cal did a good job of getting the defense to buy in. You can tell that they've been spending time on that in practice. Although I will say, in short, I have not been happy with Coach Cal's method of recruiting and how he just attacks this one and done and wants to bring freshmen in, tell them they're going to be hot shit and they're going to be first round NBA draft picks. That does nothing for the University of Kentucky. We don't need a recruiter. This emblem right here and that logo, that shit recruits itself. Anybody could go there and get a top 10 recruiting class. That's the biggest blue blood there is in college basketball. We don't need a recruiter. We don't. We're going to get the top talent regardless. We need a ball coach. And we need somebody to realize that Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepherd are the best two fucking players on the team besides all the NBA scouts. Why is it that everybody in the country can see that our best two players are coming off of the bench except for our own head coach? Food for thought. I also talked about Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll, basically how they got blackballed from the NFL. I think that both of them can still coach. In short, I think that Bill Belichick deserves a place to go that is close to a Super Bowl, that maybe just needs a different voice. Cowboys, maybe. Thought that would have been a decent fit. I know that he interviewed with Atlanta, but that didn't work out. Pete Carroll, quick recap on him. He's 72, doesn't look it. Running around all over the place, throwing footballs, man. He's looking good, feeling good. The ultimate player's coach. He'll do good coaching wherever he goes. Somebody should have given that man a job. Also, the NIL and NCAA That's a whole fucked up situation I'm not getting into right now because it's just a recap of last week's show. But Nick Saban, I believe he left the game because of the bullshit with the NIL deals and the player empowerment and making 18-year-old kids rich. And it's not just making them rich. I hope everybody sees success in life and financially well off. I truly believe that. But when you give 17, 18, 19-year-old kids $10 million NIL deals, not to mention the Nike or Under Armour contracts and all that other money and shit under the table, and they're driving Bugattis to practice, and you tell them that you want them to drop down and give you 20 up downs, they're going to look at you like, who the fuck are you? Well, I'm Nick Saban, so fucking do it. But Nick Saban, he's on to the next thing. It sucks that he's not coaching for football fans, even though as a Kentucky fan, he fucking kills us every single year at Alabama, recruits our best talent from our state, by the way. UK's about to get kids, and Nick Saban just comes on down in his helicopter and he fucking rips some talent and takes them to Alabama. He even is responsible for ripping Justin Thomas away from staying in the state. Justin Thomas was prepared to go to school in the state until Nick Saban come in and recruited him to Alabama to play golf. Nick Saban's an all-time great. He'll be great at whatever he's doing, but I did talk about those greats from the coaching world. Last week, our True Blue Ballers of the Week went to Great Crossing High School, who is 28-1, now 29-1. Their only loss came from a double overtime loss to Bishop O'Connell, who is ranked 24th in the nation out of Virginia. So for Great Crossing to be playing these top tier academies from out of state tells you everything you need to know about the talent that's at Great Crossing and how they believe in their talent. So Great Crossing High School has two players that are directly responsible for all their success. And both of them are undecided for their college. Both of them are juniors. One's name is Vince Dawson. He's a 6'5" combination guard. He can do everything. He's a 3-level scorer. He averages 17 points per game, 4 assists, 3 steals, 5 rebounds. The kid's all over the place. I can't really tell because he's in next year's class. There's not a lot out there on who all has offered him a scholarship, but somebody within this state of Kentucky has got to keep that kid. The other kid from Great Crossing, Malachi Moreno, is a 7'1" center. He is a junior. Both of them are juniors. 7'1" center. He averages 15 points a game, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks. I mean, what more could you ask for at the D1 level from a center? Hopefully, he stays in the state. But based on what I'm reading online, it looks like the most likely school to get Moreno's talents is IU. What a fucking travesty that would be. Let him go north across the bridge to IU over the river? 7'1" senior, he's got to stay in the state. I don't give a fuck what has to happen. Somebody's got to reach out to this kid. If not Coach Cal, it's got to be whoever the fuck is going to replace Kenny Payne. I would say Bellarmine, and that would be awesome because I went to Bellarmine, graduated from Bellarmine, very proud of the Knights. He's probably a notch above that, so I don't want to disrespect Malachi Moreno by going that direction, but there's absolutely no excuse why UK and U of L couldn't give this kid a scholarship. My coaching advice from last week, the segment Get 'em Choppin', was for all parents or for all youth coaches to have a realistic conversation with their parents about their coaching style and their expectations and how they're going to approach the season, especially when they get pissed off. Because if the coach's vision and his expectations do not match that of the child, and a lot of the child's expectations are dictated obviously by their parents, they're going to believe what their parents say and what they teach them and yada yada, and they should. Good for them. I would want my son to listen to me as well. But at the same time, parents need to do a better job of coaching their kids on how to be coached. So whether you are the parent that is just the Capri Sun and juice box helicopter mom that just wants to see your baby get in and not get hurt, that's fine. Or if you are the super loud rah-rah mom who understands every rule and is calling out penalties that the referees got wrong over the fence, by far my favorite type of parent, by the way. But regardless of your coaching style, you need to have a conversation with your parents so that both of you guys can make the right decision on whether or not this is the right program for you. And most of the time, the coach is already committed to the program, but this will at least allow the parents the opportunity to go elsewhere if your style is not going to match their needs and kind of the skill level or mindset or whatever of their child. Have a realistic conversation with your parents, lay the ground rules, let them know what you will and will not tolerate, and let them make the best decision from there. My dad advice segment last week was about getting the fucking phones out of your kids' faces and doing something with them in the yard. Don't miss out on that time with them. Do not allow cell phones, iPads, computers, or whatever to raise your kids. Trust me, my son spends a lot of time watching videos and doing different things on the phone. Some of it, most of it, I will say, is educational. He does watch some silly shit, but he's got to be a kid. But that will never usurp my time in the yard with my son. So I encourage everybody to do the same. There's so many studies and there's so much research on just the mentality of kids today, ranging from a number of different areas that suggest that kids today have basically been ruined by the amount of screen time. So the advice from last week, just don't let the phone raise your kids. They still need to get the old school fun, the tangible, hands-on, get dirty, play, go outside, bust a kneecap open, get some stitches. Obviously, I don't want kids to get hurt, but anybody watching this is probably at least my age or maybe older, maybe a little younger too, but we all grew up like that. We survived, we're fine. My 1% challenge from last week was to pick a vice, something that is not good for you, and try to go a week without it. For me, it was fast food. I don't eat a whole lot of fast food anymore anyways. I'm trying to lose some weight, so that really wasn't too difficult. But I did watch what I did not go out to eat, although I will say that even though I didn't go out to eat, I did eat like shit. A lot of candy bars, and the candy's my, but I did not eat out, so I did save money. So even though I did eat healthier, I did save money. So hey, kudos. I hope everybody will get to see the full breakdown of everything, but that was a hour-and-a-half long episode in a 15-minute nutshell. I only overshot my 5-minute projection by 10 minutes. So no big deal. That was Friday's episode in a 15-minute nutshell. So let's get back to it. Next segment, shout out. My shout out of today, February 28th, is going to go to a veteran, a business owner named Scott Tate. Scott Tate is a local business owner. He owns the pro shop called Ten Back Pro Shop, which is located inside of Dixie Bowl, off of Dixie Highway. It's right off the Gene Snyder exit. I have recently come back from an 8-year hiatus, what I would always joke as early retirement from bowling. I was sick of bowling, had some former coworkers get me back into it. Now I'm obsessed. I'm chasing a dream, a lifelong, childlong dream of seeing how far I can go in bowling. And Scott Tate is my guy. So I've been to a few different places, a few different pro shops over the last 3-4 months since I've been getting back to it. This man is not only the most knowledgeable, the most available, the most reliable, consistent. I mean, his business hours, he's there. He's got things on hand. He's got everything that you need. His knowledge goes so much deeper than most people's, but it's not just the knowledge and availability and reliability and dependability and all those abilities that make a business and a man great. He is nice to people. And I know that that seems like such a simple thing, but it doesn't matter who you are, age, gender, skill level, none of that shit. He treats every single person the exact same way, and he personalizes your needs to fit you because he listens and he cares. And he's a veteran.
Big old Benz truck. I ain't gon' stop, I pop my roof, I ain't giving my mans up. And I ain't getting shot by cops that shoot no little handguns. Big old Benz truck. Big old Benz.